Well, on this week's edition of Closed Session, this is one that I've been looking forward to. We took a drive out to the Woodland Cree First Nation Band offices, and with me right now is Chief Isaac Laboucan of the Woodland Cree First Nation. And first off, thank you for being here today. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me.
Awesome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Awesome. So I guess the first question is that after seeing that video, gave me a real appreciation for what you as chief and you and your fellow band counselors have to think about in terms of the issues that you guys deal with. And one of them was people being so excited making it on their own with the oil field and bringing home a paycheck. One young gentleman was really excited buying himself a new quad, but then another gentleman had said, well, I wanted to saw full moon after a day's of work and I wanted to call a moose. And they trumpeted out the call, nothing. And then they went further up north, nothing. So I guess for you as chief and the band council, like that's got to be a lot to juggle between, responsible development and also the closeness and relationship with the land.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenging one, but it's one that we have to endure. The land is everything to us, right? But at the end of the day, independence and dignity in work and building the purpose into the human spirit is very important to us as well too.
Okay, and awesome. And in saying that too, you've decided also to join up with the government on the challenge of Bill C-69. A lot of people know that in the mainstream media as the Anti-Pipeline Act. Now, you did mention before there are some good things in there, but there's some areas where there's not a lot of clarity. And I know, at least for investors, if they're not sure of something, they usually do get nervous. And I'm assuming you're probably no different in that end too as well.
Absolutely. There is good some of the stuff that's good in there is some of the First Nation content and some of the environmental stewardship. Obviously, I love that stuff. But there is some insecurity on investment when it takes the stroke of one individual. I believe that's one of the things that caught my ear on that one, is that the minister has the ultimate sign-off on some of this. So let's say, right now, look at the position we're in right now, where that provides certainty, but then 15 years from now, what is we going to still be uncertain for 15 years from now? It has the ability to be detrimental to us right now and further down the line. And with this uncertainty, even though Alberta and Canada has great environmental standards and great human rights standards, well, we're pushing some resource development into OPEC countries that have no structure on environmental standards, no care for the human being, so we are more intelligent than that. We have to find a way that we could do both. So that's why we're challenging it.
Okay, and I guess at least for the government, I know sometimes in a lot of media it seems like it's First Nations versus governments in a lot of time, but in this case it seems like that you and at least this current government and the Woodland Cree First Nation seem to be on the same page right now, at least for this.
Yeah, well, Woodland Cree, I've been a chief for 7 years. This is my third term, so going on 7 years now. I've met Redford, I've met Notley, and the ones in between, and this current one. Basically, as a leader, it's in our best interest to work with who's ever around. But in today's politics, it's kind of funny how there's a bunch of mud throwing, or slandering and all of that stuff. And my elders, and from where I come from, we like to lead with respect, honesty, integrity, and it doesn't matter what color is at the other side of the table, whether it's a blue, yellow, orange, red. You treat the other side with respect, and I'm pretty sure you get a lot more done.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I guess also, as I kind of came in here, walking through the office, I know there was a couple of things that I saw that really caught my eye, and that is, number one, you had mentioned to me a solar farm, and number two, the Woodland Cree Arena, at least the plans for that as well. Now, what I like about that arena is that when you showed me that video that about the Woodland Cree First Nation and some of the decisions that you have to make and the connection with the past, the responsible development, the arena was there, and a gentleman about 80 years old, he says he's going to strap on his skates and he's going to play. So you can see all the excitement around the possibility of a new arena. How far out the road would you say that might be?
Oh man, realistically, I bet you it's definitely a couple years or more. First, we have to build infrastructure on reserve to get gasification, natural gas. We're still unfortunately stuck on propane, which does a whole bunch of economic challenges around that.
Yeah.
But then that's where the economy around us is nice. Like when people are working, well, then they could provide hockey equipment and hockey skates for their children, etc. But absolutely, we would love to build an arena on reserve. We would love to build so much other infrastructure stuff in our community here. But that comes with challenges, financial challenges. Yeah. People don't realize that there's an assumption that First Nations get things for free. Well, absolutely not. We work hard for everything we have, and a lot of the wealth that comes in local communities will come from our traditional territories, where we have inherent rights to those resources. So you're right, it's complex, but it's something that we have the ability to accomplish. So.
Also, one thing in the video that I saw interesting is that from a very young age, the young people of the Woodland Cree First Nation are taught about the connection to the land, the water, the gathering of the berries, the hunting and the trapping. And I think, as you were mentioning before, that that's actually part of the curriculum in some programs.
Absolutely, yeah. Our tribal council, we have an education authority, and we mandate that all of our students within the 5 or 6 schools that we give them on the land education that has curriculum developed in it, and it's part of our identity. It's part of who we are.
Okay,
absolutely. Canada and Alberta has a vast historic and history within our lands, but usually we're educated on south of the border stuff, and,
yeah.
and there's misconceptions there. There's not too much education in the public systems on treaty and learning about who we are as First Nations in this country. And I think there needs to be more of a public education on all of that. But absolutely, we love the land. The land is where we come from. Our DNA is attached to the soils and the waters and the plants around us.
Okay, and overall, I guess now is that obviously this is one of the more tougher economic times. Arguably, this could be one of the bigger recessions that Alberta's been hit with in the last several years.
Worst in history, worst recorded. And now everybody, unfortunately, when this was happening, let's say in the 30s, what they call the dirty 30s.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't attached to a phone bill, a truck payment, a satellite. The quality of life has jumped tremendously since then. And now the cost of even water, is tremendous. And the elders, that have the hardest time, that working, they just don't have the ability to retire comfortably now. It's tough. It really is. And unfortunately, I think things are going to get a lot tougher. You look at what this coronavirus is doing. It's wiping out grocery stores within weeks or days. Times are changing, and times are changing very rapidly.
And and with that being said, I know that thing too is that how important do you think it is for parents, grandparents to be able to pass that knowledge on to their children, given the fact that we're living in what we can call an age of distraction, where you just pick up the phone and everyone seems to have their head buried in their phone. Do you still find though that the youth of today, the Woodland Cree youth of today, feel that attachment and that closeness with the land?
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a few of our children and youth that are very active on the land. Like I'm sure when you came in, you've seen the ones on
Yep.
quads, and you've seen the ones that are just walking around, whether they got hockey sticks in their hands or whatever.
Yes, I did. Did notice them.
Yeah, so active living is very much alive on here, but obviously there's room to improve. And I think they call it the information era we're
Yes.
in. But being in this information era, it's actually, I hate to say it because Trump said it, but also a misinformation era.
Yes.
You know, yeah, so it's steadily.
So on that note, Chief Isaac, thank you so much for taking the time to be on closed session.
All right.
Yep, absolutely. My pleasure to have Chief Isaac Laboucan of the Woodland Cree First Nation here on closed session. I'm Kenny Trenton. We'll see you next week.
Awesome.